Welcome to Focal Point News, your source for campus news, breaking headlines, and in-depth stories that matter. Coming up on Focal Point, how the community honored its veterans for Veterans Day, and how one local food bank is making a difference.
And one local East Lansing business is getting a new home in the new year.
From the heart of Michigan State University, Focal Point starts right now.
November 15th, 2024, and welcome to Focal Point News. I'm Jaden Hawkins.
And I'm Charlotte Turbrack. It has been 10 days since the presidential election. We will check in with students around campus about their thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
And have you heard of the Harvest Classic? Well, if you don't know what that is, you don't want to miss it. We'll take you there live with our own Kenzie Terpstra. But first, the country celebrated Veterans Day this week. In Lansing, the Veterans Council held a 7-wreath-laying ceremony representing those who fought in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, and the War on Terror. Well over 1 million Michigan veterans served in these wars, and Focal Point's Karina Prieto takes us to the Capitol, where she talks to one of them.
It is up to us to ensure that every veteran believes that his or her sacrifice to this country is respected by their fellow Americans.
Cold and windy.
By the way, everybody who's ever worn a uniform has done so at tremendous personal cost.
Maybe not the perfect day to be outside, but today it doesn't matter.
We can't make up for what happened to our past veterans, but we can make sure that our current veterans and our current military know just how much they truly are appreciated.
Today, the community is trying to do just that, holding a wreath-laying ceremony on the Capitol lawn.
To all those out there who served, who are in uniform or were, thank you. Thank you for your service.
Several local leaders shared their gratitude for the military, and each speech seemed to echo a similar sentiment.
They've often paid with their health, their physical, their mental well-being. We know the challenges, we know the things we have to face on deployments.
During the ceremony, these dollar bills were handed out with the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number on them. They may not have any monetary value, but people here today tell me they can be worth much more.
22 every day to suicide, veteran suicide.
Vietnam veteran Rick Riggins knows firsthand what it's like to deal with the trauma of serving.
They still don't feel they have anyone they can turn to. We don't talk much. We're pretty close when it comes to those things, unless we're around each other.
And on days like today, Rick struggles to pinpoint his feelings.
It's kind of tough. It's a little bit hard to put into words, really.
During the 7-wreath-laying ceremony, he found himself reflecting on the sacrifice of his brothers and sisters in service, something Inetta Smith wants to remind people of.
I would ask to just be gentle around your veterans, because this is not always a happy holiday for some of our veterans. It brings back memories, and it allows them to remember the people that they served with.
But there's one thing Rick knows for sure.
That Michigan turns out for its veterans.
At the Capitol, Karina Prieto.
You don't see that everywhere.
Focal Point News.
We hope this serves as a reminder of the honor, bravery, and sacrifice that our veterans and their loved ones display every day. From all of us at Focal Point, thank you for your service, veterans. We are now 10 days post-election, and there has been a lot to cover as results are confirmed and races are called. By securing 312 electoral votes and winning the popular vote, former President Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the 47th president. He won all 7 swing states and held Vice President Harris to 226 electoral votes.
The Republican Party has flipped control of the Senate. They hold 53 seats while the Democrats maintain 45 seats. Bernie Sanders and Angus King hold the remaining 2 seats as independents. As for the House, the Republicans hold 218 House seats after flipping 7 seats. The Democrats have 209 seats and flipped 7 of their own. Even though 8 races have yet to be called, the Republicans have officially gained control of the House.
This election did bring a handful of firsts within the Senate as well, with Maryland electing Angela Also Brooks and Delaware electing Lisa Blunt Rochester. These 2 Democrats are the first African-American woman to serve in the Senate at the same time. Delaware also elected Sarah McBride, who is the first openly transgender person elected to Congress. She won Delaware's only House seat in this election.
Andy Kim, a Democratic House representative from New Jersey, defeated Republican Curtis Bushaw for one of the state Senate seats. In a state where the Asian American population is growing, the Korean American politician makes history as the state's first Asian American senator. What's the mood of voters after this election? Obviously, in this divided country, some are happy, some are not. Focal Point's Ethan Hunter tells us, for one Michigan State student, the result feels life-changing.
That's true. That's true. Hey, do you want to pet some baby goats?
Michigan State's campus looks a little different 1 week after the election. The voter registration tents, gone.
My body woke me up when the news came out, and I knew immediately, but I was really hesitant to check my phone. And I saw it. I tried to convince myself it was a nightmare and went back to bed.
Erin Johnson couldn't believe the news Wednesday morning.
I was just so mad. Like, I wasn't even sad yet, just so angry. I was crying angry tears. I was brushing my teeth. I can't even, articulate, the rage I felt in my body.
2 days before the election, Erin and her roommates were excited. It's not every day that their choice for president stops by their campus. That excitement has turned to fear.
I think it's extremely disheartening. I think it's more disheartening the fact that not even that they didn't elect a woman, but instead they elected a predator and someone who has been convicted of these crimes against women.
Voters that felt the same as Erin took to social media to support each other. Even at a Michigan State hockey game, days after the election, some minds in the student section were still focused on support, showing their sadness, anger, but most importantly, empathy.
I've been torn this whole time of I want to cut these people off because they actively voted against me, and there's no way out of this without community and joint understanding, and that's kind of how we got into this place in the first place.
In East Lansing, Ethan Hunter, Focal Point News.
And Erin also told Ethan that she plans on putting more support into organizations that support LGBTQ+ youth and environmental causes in the coming months.
Just days after this year's presidential election results, Michigan State University students took the field at Dem Hall to rally against the rise of fascism in the political landscape. This was the first student-led protest on campus following the election. Focal Point's Rachel Fulton shows us what made up last Friday's rally.
So stick around, make some memories and new friends.
It was about making new friends, like-minded people who needed to be together.
Stop fighting.
I think it's really important that we get together as a community during this time.
It was billed as a walkout to reject fascism. About 100 students gathered at Demonstration Field on the Friday after the presidential election.
I think that a lot of us are really, really upset about the results of the election, and a lot of people are losing hope and feeling a lot of despair.
So it felt better to be together. They called themselves Students United Against Fascism. They made signs and even set up a booth with food and water.
When democracy is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When democracy is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back!
The group then made the short march from Dem Field to the Sparty statue.
Michigan State's campus has been pretty quiet ever since we got the results of this year's presidential election, until right now.
People in the back, can you hear me? Awesome.
The Sparty statue is considered the center of Michigan State's campus, and this group's goal was to be the center of attention on this day. They spent about an hour in front of the statue, hoping to get their point across, but knowing they still have a bright future ahead of them. just like the blue sky fall day.
All of our work for the election wasn't for nothing. There's still a bright future ahead of us.
Rachel Fulton, Focal Point News.
Rally members wanted the gathering to serve as a reminder for the MSU student body that activism is more than just a statement in the community. It's a commitment for students to protect democracy.
There are many groups that are dedicated to uplifting and empowering women, especially in the workplace. One of those groups came to Holt this past Wednesday, and I had the privilege to attend the National Association of Career Women Luncheon and see just how powerful their impact is.
Since its founding in 1980, the National Association of Career Women has created a supportive network for women to connect and build lasting relationships.
It's an amazing group of supportive women who our sole purpose is to support and educate and develop leadership. NACW, we meet monthly, and every month we have a luncheon where we invite speakers in, speakers that can help our membership learn new things or become more of who they want to be in the world.
Being a woman in general is hard, but Melanie McNamara and the National Association of Career Women is doing their part to empower the community and help one another out.
So back in 2021, I believe it was February of 2021, Melanie McNamara had asked me to be the keynote speaker. So I came to the group and talked about reinvention. It was very powerful and very moving. It was a very pivotal point in my life.
Their monthly luncheons feature guest speakers who share experiences and expertise. This month's featured Elfrida Jones, author of She Confidence, who inspired the audience with her message and self-belief.
Some of you right now are experiencing that transition, that pivot, where it's time to consider pivoting or transformation or transforming into a different position or career. But there's something that's stopping you from saying yes all the way, and it's your confidence. Every level requires another level of confidence. So you have to ask yourself, am I confident or am I just comfortable?
NACW continues to uplift women across generations and is taking advice from Elfrida as they now go into each day using the
5 C's of confidence: clarity, creativity, competition, courage. And number 5 is confidence itself. But at the end of the day, I can tell you this: as women, we still have to stick together regardless.
In East Lansing, I'm Charlotte Turbrack, Focal Point News.
NACW is more than just an organization. It is a lifelong support for women at all career stages. For more information on their mission or how to get involved, visit nacwonline.org. As fall weather slowly exits, colder weather is approaching.
Bobby Cushing is live at the weather wall to let us know if we need to start wearing warmer clothes next week. Bobby?
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's definitely going to get a little colder as we take a look at the national map. We can see the West Coast is seeing colder temperatures than they're used to. 58 in Sacramento, and down in Los Angeles, it's 63. There's a light chance of rain, and they're also seeing a little breeze, so that's nice for them, a little break from what they're used to. Speaking of breaks, Phoenix is always used to being in the higher temperatures, and this is high for this late in the year, but 73, I'll admit, I'm a little jealous of them. As we move closer to the Midwest, we're seeing temperatures that we're used to. We're seeing the 53 in Minneapolis. It's going to be 57 and 59, 54 all around our Midwest area. As we move closer to the East Coast, Buffalo is pretty cold at 49. They got a big football game up. We'll talk about that later. And then Portland getting in 47 is the coldest we're going to see in the Northeast. As we move down, New York is seeing 57. And also I'm jealous of Atlanta and Charleston in the mid 60s. As for Florida, they're always seeing good temperatures in the 80s. As we move to the regional map now, we can see Green Bay, Grand Rapids, Chicago, Detroit, all in that mid-50s area. As we move south, you can see Indianapolis is seeing 59. Even Kansas City is seeing 64, so that's nice. We talked about Buffalo. They're 49. Chiefs coming to town for against the Bills. Should be good football weather there. Now let's take a look at the 7-day outlook in East Lansing. I'll admit it's a little boring. We're seeing some clouds in the mid-50s. and it's chilly. So yeah, we're gonna wanna bring out a jacket. We're seeing the 50s and even drop down into the 40s on some days. Monday, we're gonna see a little sun try and peek out, just a little bit. But then right on Tuesday, take that sun away because we might see some rain. So definitely bring an umbrella for that. As we move into Wednesday and Thursday later in the week, it's gonna remain the same as what we saw before. So to answer you guys' question, yes, you're gonna wanna bring out a rain jacket maybe, but other than that, you don't really have too much to worry about. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Bobby. It sounds like we will have to take out our raincoats. We'll try to keep those winter snow coats tucked away for a bit longer. I can say, Jaden, that I am not excited for this winter weather to come.
Neither am I. So speaking of being out in the weather, horses don't mind, do they? And there are a lot of them galloping their way to the MSU Pavilion today. That's where we find Focal Point's Kenzie Terpstra. Kenzie, first question, do you have your boots on?
Thank you, Charlotte and Jaden. I am wearing my boots. They're not cowboy boots, but they're the best I could do at the time. We are here at the MSU Pavilion where the Michigan Quarter Horse Association, or MQHA, is hosting its Harvest Classic. And so there's quite a bit going on behind me. You can see here we've got a few horses lunging just to get warmed up and get the jitters out. On the far end, they are warming up for the trail event. So a lot of those will be competing yet today in the trail events. And then there's just other people out here getting ready. And so we are joined here with Megan, who used to be a board member for MQHA, and now she's actually showing herself in this event. And so Megan, what events do you show in?
I do the all-around pleasure events. So we do Western Pleasure, Hunter Under Saddle, Trail we'll be showing later this afternoon, horsemanship, equitation, showmanship, and halter. So we'll be showing every day here.
Wow, you've got a busy weekend ahead of you.
Yes.
And so how long have you been showing for?
I have been showing since I was 9, and without too much math, that's about 33 years. So I really enjoyed it. I started in 4-H, and 4-H is an MSU extension program.
Awesome. So we've got a fellow Spartan here, obviously. And so Megan, what are you most excited for this weekend?
I'm really excited to kind of get planning for our next season. This is the last horse show of the year. We just came off of Congress, and my horse had a really nice Congress Reserve Champion win. So we're excited to kind of wind down with a little bit smaller show and get prepped for next year.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. That is awesome. Thank you, Megan, also for taking the time to talk to us today. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, they will be here. The first show starts today at 1 p.m. and then the show continues through the weekend. So if you're looking for weekend plans, this might be it for you. Charlotte and Jaden, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kenzie.
You know what, Jaden? I actually have never ridden a horse before.
Well, Charlotte, it's super fun, and you definitely have to give it a try.
Maybe I will. Coming up on Focal Point, we will cover Homelessness Awareness Month, the latest sports updates, and we just covered horses, now it's cats. Coming up, the Constellation Cat Cafe's future plans.
We'll be right back with these stories and more on Focal Point.
Makes the Big Ten so big? For starters, it's coast to coast. 18 of the country's most iconic universities. It's 110,000 people going berserk in a whiteout big. It's defend the rock, jump around, and the biggest bass drum on earth big. It's a stadium so big.
They had to name it the Big House. Go Blue!
It's dotting the I big.
Let's go Bucks.
It's all-time leading scorer big. It's Husker Tunnel Walk big. And Paul Bunyan's axe big. It's Rutgers Rock, Fear the Turtle, Oski Wow Wow, and Sparty doing big Sparty things. It's red, scarlet, maroon, cardinal, purple, green, black, yellow, gold, orange, and any other color under the sun big. And now that USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington have joined the party, it's feeling real big. Right, Matt?
I'm ready. Fight on. Boys up, baby.
Let's get it. Go Dogs.
Nah, it's all about the O.
And where can you catch more sports games, matches, hits, goals, saves, aces, buzzer beaters, sprints, spikes, putts, pins, faults, dives, and touchdowns every Big Ten season? The Big Ten Network. This is big.
Welcome back to Focal Point. Welcome back to Focal Point, and thanks for sticking with us through the break.
We've already covered a lot of students speaking out today, but Jaden tells us a little bit more about this earlier this week.
MSU's Young Americans for Freedom invited an athlete to speak on campus about her transgender teammate. And while there was a group of students who showed their support, There was a group outside who viewed this appearance as controversial. I was able to attend the event and talk to students on both sides. It's a story that made national headlines.
Transgender swimmer Leah Thomas. Transgender American swimmer Leah Thomas.
22-year-old Leah Thomas.
The University of Pennsylvania's Leah Thomas.
And now found its way here on the Michigan State campus.
And our coach just said, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do.
Leah Thomas was a former University of Pennsylvania swimmer who became the face of controversy after becoming the first openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I national championship. On Tuesday, MSU's Young Americans for Freedom hosted Thomas's former teammate Paula Scanlon, who was speaking out about her experiences with her former teammate and her frustration with the NCAA.
Surely somebody is going to step in and do the right thing. Surely the NCAA will change their policy. Well, guess what? It's 2024 and the NCAA hasn't changed their policy yet. I thought the University of Pennsylvania would have my back. I thought maybe the Ivy League would make some statement and prevent this from happening, but they didn't.
In this room, the consensus is that transgender athletes do not belong in female sports. But step outside and you'll meet students like Izzy Savage that disagree with that ideology.
They're talking about like transgender rights and stuff, something that I don't think that they should even be speaking on since they have no real experience with that. So I think just the message is like, she shouldn't be here. Like, you shouldn't be promoting anti-trans rhetoric on this campus.
Sin Savage and Lyra Opa-Lincoln wanted to protest Scanlon's appearance in a civil way, just outside the biochem building where she was speaking.
I want to have a sort of counter protest rather than directly interfering with the event. I wanted to have a space for community growth and community solidarity by bringing people together and by uplifting our spirits together.
They wanted to send a message to the university that all sides need to be represented here.
So the space where trans people will support each other.
We are here and we're not going anywhere.
Oh, look, they're there.
On Michigan State's campus, Jaden Hawkins, Focal Point News. Izzy and Lyra say they do not belong to a student organization, but they organize with a student group when they see injustices on campus.
Did you know that November is National Homelessness Awareness Month?
Focal Point's Campbell Berg is live in front of the Capitol building talking about what different Lansing organizations like the Michigan Coalition Against Homelessness are doing this month.
Thank you, Jaden and Charlotte. I am live at the Capitol building where earlier this week, the Michigan Coalition Against Homelessness hosted their Policy and Pastries event, which helps review 2025 affordable housing policies here in Michigan. They also attended the Rent is Too Damn High rally. Homelessness can affect almost anyone, and their own situations can look very different. Local community organizations are doing what they can to help those in need. Take a look. Policies and pastries. We don't usually associate pastries with policies, but that is exactly what the combination is here.
More and more young people are really struggling to obtain housing. We've seen rental prices really increase.
The price increase is why involvement from younger generations is important.
I feel like as college students, we are at such a privilege, and there's so much potential to help our community.
Homeless Humanity is a Michigan State student organization that connects Spartans to the Lansing community.
We kind of like help others take matters into their own hands to help the community.
But most people, once they get approved,
From donating to volunteering to organized rallies, these two organizations are proving that it is time to fight for homelessness and affordable housing. If you want to get in contact with local legislators about homelessness here in Lansing or other political issues, Micah can help you do that. They also have advocacy day on April 9th, 2025 that they need volunteers for. If you are interested in volunteering, you can go to mihomelessness.com. Spartans, if you want to get involved with Homeless Humanity, reach out to them at rso.homelesshumanity@msu.edu. There are also plenty of opportunities for you to get involved by donating to local food banks or clothing drives.
Thanks, Campbell. Before we let you go, where is the Michigan Coalition Against Homelessness located?
Yeah, Micah is located down here in Lansing on US Old 27 and East State Road. I'm live at the Capitol, Campbell Berg, Focal Point News.
Thank you for that information, Campbell. As the holiday season approaches, food banks throughout mid-Michigan prepare for an influx of donations and volunteers. The Greater Lansing Food Bank services 7 counties in Michigan, and Focal Point's Nora Fleming tells us how the food bank helps over 1 million people a month.
As the leaves begin to fall and the air gets colder,
the first reaction to our warehouse is that it looks a lot like Costco. I mean, giant jars of...
Kelly Miller knows it's heating up in here.
So the Greater Lansing Food Bank is a regional food bank supporting mid-Michigan. So we serve 7 counties here.
She's the Chief Development Officer at the food bank, and after 7 years knows how busy the holidays can be.
November and December really pick up for distributions out to our neighbors in the community, just because the need this time of year is so high with all kinds of expenses that our neighbors are facing.
It's the volunteers, over 2,000 of them, who make all of this possible.
So volunteering is really easy. We have a lot of different opportunities.
This year, they're able to provide 1 million meals a month to those in need.
The Greater Lansing Food Bank is here in Bath, but its impact can be found here in East Lansing.
This one sits in Olin Health Center. The Michigan State Student Food Bank partners with the Greater Lansing Food Bank to serve students and scholars of the university.
The food bank started in 1993. It was started by students for students, actually the first one of its kind in the country.
The MSU Food Bank helps over 200 students facing food insecurity a year.
We want people to have agency, so they get to select from a list of what we have available, and then our students and volunteers shop and put together bags, and they come in and pick them up.
And during the holidays.
And so we're doing some special drives to make sure that our students are taken care of at the holidays, but really all of the time year round.
So that students can have a truly happy holiday.
We want you to come in. If you need to use the food bank, come on in. We're here for you.
In Bath and East Lansing, Nora Fleming, Focal Point News.
Earlier this week, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer stopped by the Greater Lansing Food Bank to volunteer before the holidays. If you're interested in joining her and thousands of others, head to their website at greaterlansingfoodbank.org.
Impact 89 FM airs a live music show every week, and recently they've been leaving the studio and are turning hidden spaces on campus into a music venue. Focal Point's Delaney Rogers takes us behind the scenes.
Upon first listen, you may think this is a music venue. And last month, that is exactly what it was. Impact 89 FM recorded an episode of The Basement, their live music show.
We're a very talented band from Brooklyn, New York, called Cabela's.
Liv and Griffin typically record the show live in studio, but this time...
This studio is located, all the way across campus.
But underneath the Michigan State Union, there's a space that's stuck in time. Bowling alley. A bowling alley that had its operations thrown in the gutter when the pandemic hit. For the first time in years, this basement was brought back to life.
Being in the bowling alley, oh my God, so much more work. It's such a unique opportunity that we get to be down here.
This space was transformed into a temporary music venue. Well, a private one.
So Spartan Lanes was our bowling alley, and very popular for many years. It was a difficult decision, but it was our university administrators that decided to close it.
And although the space is not open to the public,
I just appreciate Impact 89 FM and, love the ideas that y'all come up with.
The bowling alley still being spared.
We interviewed right on the alleyway, actually, and these old chairs that look like they're from the 70s. Once again, this is Cabela's.
In East Lansing, I'm Delaney Rogers, Focal Point News.
If you did not get the chance to hear it live, you can find the live performance and interview at impact89fm.org. Pretty sure we're not going to be covering any bowling in sports today, but hockey season and basketball season are now in full swing.
With hockey sweeping Ohio State last weekend, will they do the same this weekend against Notre Dame? Let's head over to Nora Fleming for the sport update in the newsroom.
Thanks, Jaden and Charlotte. It's been a busy few weeks for Michigan State athletics, starting off with men's basketball. The Spartans took on the Purple Eagles of Niagara last Thursday in the second game of the regular season. First half, Jahari Williamson with the three-pointer to put Niagara up 4 early. But later in the half, Michigan State's Jaden Akins with a one-handed jam to cut into that Niagara lead. And the Spartans were just getting started. Cohen Carr, huge slam to get Breslin rocking. And how about Jackson Kohler? The junior led the Spartans with 20 points and 13 assists for his first double-double of the season. There he is now. He's going to grab his own miss and put it back up for that score. Celebrating a little bit there, and even freshman Jace Richardson got into the mix there with a steal. He runs it, goes coast to coast and lays it in. He gets the foul, does a little dance, and the Spartans will go on to win this one 96-60. Sticking with men's basketball, the Spartans went to Atlanta Tuesday to take on the #1 team in the nation, Kansas, for the Champions Classic. The Spartans kept it close despite shooting 12.5% from long range, but Kansas was ultimately able to pull away in the last 5 minutes of the game. Frankie Fiddler led the Spartans with 15 points, while Hunter Dickinson led the Jayhawks with 28 as Kansas wins it 77-69. The Spartans will be back in action tomorrow against Bowling Green State University. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Moving over to the ice now, MSU hockey has put together an impressive resume this season. The #4 Spartans took on #13 Ohio State last weekend. First period, Trey Augustine made a save, but Ohio State would get another shot in the second. Damian Carfagna with the goal to put the Buckeyes up 1-0. Still in the second now, Michigan State's Gavin O'Connell scores off a rebound shot by Isaac Howard. Spartans tie it 1-1 going into the third. Now Michigan State's Shane Van Sage netted his first collegiate goal, tipping in a shot from Matt Baskell. The Spartans go up 2-1, and the celebration wouldn't stop there. 66 seconds later, Isaac Howard, this time with a goal of his own to put the Spartans up by 2, and Daniel Russell would seal the deal for the Spartans with an empty netter in the final minutes of the game. Michigan State wins it 4-1 for Adam Nightingale's 50th win as the Spartans head coach. They return to the ice later today to take on Notre Dame. Puck drop is scheduled for 7 p.m. That's all we have for sports today. Jaden and Charlotte, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Nora. I mean, I am super excited for these winter Michigan State sports to start happening.
I know, I'm really excited about basketball.
But I am getting a little tired. Jaden, are you?
Nothing a little cup of coffee won't cure, and we all know there is no shortage of coffee cups in East Lansing. From franchise chains to small businesses, it's easy to find a cup of joe anywhere.
But the Constellation Cat Cafe offers more than just your typical cup of coffee. And now it finds itself outgrowing its East Lansing roots. Focal Point's Kenzie Terpstra tells us more about their future plans.
Constellation Cat Cafe brings coffee cravers and feline fanatics together.
A space for people in our community to come and have another place to hang out and enjoy an hour of their time with adoptable cats.
And now, after 5 years,
we just celebrated our 5th birthday.
The cafe needs to grow.
This place is small, and we also rent. So we wanted to be able to be in a place where we owned the building. We could make updates to it. We can really make it our own.
In September, the cafe found a new home.
We will be in Old Town shortly.
Just across town.
right here in this very distinct purple building, right on the corner of Maple and Cedar Street in Old Town, directly across the street from Prue's Pets.
So far, things haven't gone according to plan.
We're trying to get into our new building. We had grand plans of being over there, but unfortunately we've had some major setbacks.
One of the biggest setbacks? A 3-car collision that damaged their new building.
Everybody is okay, which at the end of the day is really the most important thing. But one of the vehicles did run into the side of our building.
Kelsey and team had hoped to be in their new home by the end of October.
We simply don't know how long permits will take to get through, how long insurance will take to work through, and all that kind of stuff.
For now, they're hoping to be moved by the beginning of the year.
Assuming that things kind of go to plan at this point.
But in the meantime,
follow us on social media, come visit us at the cafe, come visit the cats, even if you're not in a space to adopt. Come grab a cup of coffee and hang out with May and her friends, and just really find your space here.
In East Lansing, Kenzie Terpstra, Focal Point News.
Coffee and cats, what a great combo, Jaden. You can stay updated on the new cafe's construction through their Facebook page. For now, they are still open every day at their East Lansing location on Lake Lansing Road.
Those cats are so cute, and I definitely need to check that cafe out.
Me too. I'll join you, Jaden. We are out of time for today. Thank you for tuning in to Focal Point News. I'm Charlotte Turbrack.
And I'm Jaden Hawkins. Have a great weekend.